idea and crouching in the corner and then preying on unsuspecting victims, but I don't agree with this personally. It feels a bit like cheating and dishonesty, which actually might be the premises of Spy as a whole. But picking a disguise where people naturally let their guard down around you, and both just don't spy check to begin with, is an insanely strong tool to have in your pocket, and one that is very easily abusable just because people don't change their ways when it comes to TF2. Part 2. Where? And by where, I specifically mean maps. We have to talk about maps when it comes to heavy disguises, because our greatly lowered walking speed drastically affects our positioning. So the ideal map for a heavy disguise is one that is either generally much smaller than most maps, or ones with lots of different escape options and flank routes. Smaller maps are important for a heavy disguise because, as I mentioned earlier, we have a much harder time getting from point A to point B whilst disguised. Now when I say point A to point B, I'm not necessarily referring to the distance between the spawn room and the objective, because when traversing terrain you can just drop your disguise if there's no one around. What I'm really referring to when I say point A to point B is the distance between you and your next victim. Since you will be moving at the speed of the slowest class in the game, everyone else except for other heavies is going to be faster than you, and therefore they're going to be moving away from you faster than you are going to be moving towards them. But a smaller map massively helps in limiting this, as this means the enemy has less places to go overall. In short, the less distance they have to run away from you, the more effective you are. Now for the other half of the coin, escape routes. As you see, when you are moving as slow as the slowest class in the game, it is much harder to outmaneuver your enemy once you get caught. This is mostly affected when it comes to getting trick stabs. So instead, when you're caught, your best option is to run away, and therefore we're going to need a map with lots of options for us to escape. Now, you might not be thinking there is a huge overlap between small maps and maps with lots of escape routes, but when I say small maps, I mostly just mean small areas. Let's go back to Sunshine, for example. I think this is one of the better maps for heavy disguises. There are many different places on this map where we could get to stabs and still be close enough to undisguise and run away somewhere. There are lots of obstacles in the way as well, meaning that no one can make a straight line for us. So this section of the video pretty much comes down to either a small map or a map with small areas with lots of escape routes. Now, you might be thinking that this is a lot of effort to make a disguise work, and you might be thinking that I'm just heavily overcompensating for the fact that this is not a very good disguise. But I'd like to clear that up and tell you you're wrong on that, because all good disguises take this much effort. Talking about maps and game modes specifically for disguises is a very under-talked about thing when it comes to spy disguises. Not every disguise works equally well on every game mode and every map, and this isn't really something I've seen many people bring up, which I'm going to be honest with you just smells like a future video of mine. But that's a topic for a later date, as we're only talking about how to make heavy disguises work in this video. But the baseline point is that if you just throw on any disguise and have the exact same strategy for all of them, you will fail. Your strategy for every disguise needs to be different in corresponding with what the disguise is. And for heavy disguises specifically, we're going to need smaller areas to work in with lots of escape routes. And finally, we bring ourselves to the when. When should you be using the heavy disguise? Since we have previously discussed what the heavy disguise is good at, we now need to start reflecting upon when we should be using that. So the heavy disguise is one that you should be using upon the front lines. It is not a disguise you should be using to get behind the enemy and pick off backline targets. And whilst the clip in the background is currently demonstrating me doing just that, these two sniper kills would have been a lot more optimal if I had used another disguise. No, the best time to use a heavy disguise is when the enemy is trying to make a push for the objective. See this guy here? His name is the Medic, and the entire game revolves around him. This is how TF2 has been designed for the previous 17 years of its life, and that's not going to be changing anytime soon. So therefore, if you're able to control the medic, you're able to control the entire game, and heavy disguises get you in that favourable position quite easily. You should be using your heavy disguise when the enemy is looking to make a push for the objective, or when they are rallying the troops and looking to do so. This is when you should swoop in, use the unforgiving trust of all of the people around you, pick off the medic, and, well, hopefully don't die. Death is a guaranteed thing about playing spy. Nobody in their right mind will be denying that. But as long as you've taken out the key picks like medics, then you have done your job right. Now, the more keen-eared amongst you might have realised that heavy disguises are most effective in scenarios where heavies would normally be found. And yeah, that's the point of a disguise. When choosing a disguise, you have to act like that class would normally act. That involves playing on the maps where that class is most effective, playing in the same areas where they would normally be, and mimicking their own behaviours based on their unique skill sets to the best of your ability. Spy is all about acting, and that's what makes him so fun. which is why I'd like to do the best I can to teach people about some of the more underrated disguises in Spy's arsenal, and I feel that the heavy disguise is the most underrated one Spy has access to. So go out there, use the knowledge you've learned from this video, and give the heavy disguise a go. I'm sure you won't regret it. And with that being said, you have
We're back once again. Hello, Scully.
Yes?
That was weird, bro. I got you, bro, don't worry.
My eye! Hey, I only have 2 of these, you know. And be careful!
Make him normal.
What's going on? Ugh, I'll never be normal.
Bro.
Huh?
Ah!
Let that be a lesson to you. Hey. Don't you dare put me in the pot. Damn you! Got any more?
No.
Oh, no. There's Igor again. Igor! Get out of here!
Give me fireball.
Don't go so close to Igor, son. The smell is abhorrent. This is not my table. I don't want to be here. This table is awful. Look at it. It's lame. It's got 4 legs, but it's got no charm.
Whoops. Hey, f*** you.
What a despicable thing to say. Hey, you're not thinking about throwing me out there, are you? Do not do that, all right? Do not do that. Hey, well, you know there's no glass here. This is an open window, all right? Can you move me out of here?
Make a crossbow. Make it huge. Make it strong.
Oh, why me?
I might have just killed him rather than made him fall out the window.
Yeah, great. It's a stupid looking finger. I'm not jealous at all. Hey!
Make me a sword. Ah!
I knock it off. I do not appreciate this.
Bring me the skull.
I'm lighter than your mom now. Will you please knock it off with the throwing around? Making me dizzy. Oh! Hey, will you knock that off? I am not a beach ball. Thumbs up, bro. I don't have any thumbs.
Oh.
What? You're not happy about that? Thumb goes down. You have a weird thumb. Did you know that? Oh. Don't you dare put me in the pot.
How do you get stuck up there? You know what? You can stay there. What can I do?
Did you know that voice is a powerful thing? You don't even have to be specific with it. For example, you can say, make all metal objects weightless. Or make something explode.
Make all metal objects float.
Isaac Newton is rolling in his grave.
Is Scully made of metal? Make everything normal.
Ah, my temple!
Clean everything up. I wish that was a command in real life.
Ah, you witless wand waver! Ooh.
That explodes, doesn't it? Yeah, it's